one of the most highly anticipated fights of the year, KSI vs. Dillon Danis, was cancelled when Danis decided to pull out last minute, but the show must go on as KSI now has a new opponent for match day. In today's video, we'll talk about KSI's new opponent, FaZe Temper. We'll also talk about Mike Perry calling out for a short notice fight against KSI. So without further ado, let's get into the video. First off, KSI is set to fight FaZe Temper. Let's look at all the details. It's time for Sidemen vs. FaZe Clan, and KSI is set to fight the American YouTuber star FaZe Temper for Misfits' 4th event. KSI said the show must go on, as he announced his new opponent on Twitter after Danis pulled out. FaZe Temper was originally booked for the event, and he was supposed to find a mystery opponent who was to be revealed on the night of the fight. Now many fans believe that management just had Temper hanging around in case Danis flaked, which he did. KSI vs. Temper was a very big event, and obviously, FaZe Temper isn't an opponent of the same level. However, fans are very invested because it's two YouTube clans against each other. Misfits posted a face-off between the two opponents on YouTube, in which both boxers interacted. Temper said that his fight with KSI would definitely be one of his career's hardest fights. He said he'd been training consistently, and that defeating KSI would definitely be an upset. KSI said that he believes Temper is, without a doubt, a better fighter than Danis. He then added that that doesn't mean he has a chance against the Nightmare. Temper interrupted KSI and called him out for underestimating him. Temper has been previously knocked out by Slim Albahar at KSI's 2 fights in 1 night event. He returned to the ring in November and knocked Overtflow out in a matter of seconds. Temper is still a very exciting opponent, and fans can't wait to see what happens. KSI remains undefeated with 3 wins. Let's see if he keeps this title. Not to mention, why did Danis drop out last minute? Fans were very disappointed when Danis pulled out last minute, but let's be honest, we all saw it coming. Dillon Danis was supposed to face KSI at MF and DAZN X Series 004 for an uncaged boxing match. The MMA fighter announced that he was pulling out of the fight just 10 days ahead of it. Misfits announced that Danis had backed off with a video of KSI's manager, Mams Taylor, explaining the whole situation. Taylor said that he got a phone call saying that Danis wasn't going to fight anymore. This was because Danis felt he was underprepared and had no proper training, as his campaign didn't even have a head coach. Is this something we didn't expect from Danis? Not really. Even though he'd been boasting about making more money from this fight than any of his MMA fights, maybe he didn't want to be left with a bald head after losing. It was also more than just ending up with a bald head. There was a lot at stake here. Danis is a professional fighter, while KSI has only done influencer boxing. Getting beaten by a YouTuber would have potentially destroyed Danis' whole career. KSI reacted to the situation by tweeting, 2 fights, 2 pullouts, KMT. An opponent pulling out last minute is a situation the Brit is very familiar with. During Misfits' first event, Alex Wasabi pulled out, calling KSI to do a double fight. Up next, how are fans reacting to this last-minute change? Let's have a look. Fans took on Twitter by storm and showed disappointment over the change. Just like us, they were also excited to see Danis versus KSI because the fight had been hyped up a lot in the past couple of months. Everyone was invested in all the drama that came with the fight. People showed disappointment over Danis pulling out as one fan tweeted, "He's a proper bum." Another added, "I'm so mad that Dillon pulled out. I was actually so hyped up." Millions of memes were made calling Danis a coward who got intimidated by a YouTuber turned boxer. Other celebrities and YouTube stars also had things to say. Swarms replied to KSI's tweet and wrote, "These guys ain't got no heart, bro." British actor Joshua Riley replied to KSI's tweet as well and wrote, "At least Swarms actually became a man and did the fight even though he wasn't good. He's in a way better than Wasabi and Danis." A lot of fans also complained about KSI choosing Temper as his next opponent. People think he isn't on the same level because Slim Albahar knocked him down really badly at Misfits' first event. People called out KSI for choosing an easy opponent when he had better options. Not everyone is against KSI versus Temper, as some fans are really excited about the fight too. One fan tweeted, "I'm upset that Dillon pulled out, but KSI is fighting Temper and I'm excited to see it." Well, at the end of the day, there's still a fight for us to watch, and we're excited to see what happens. As for KSI versus Danis, the Brit said he's never rescheduling that one. Moving on, Mike Perry calls for a short notice fight against KSI. American mixed martial artist Mike Perry hinted at wanting to fight KSI when Danis pulled out last minute. Perry attempted to fill in on the short notice by posting an indirect message on social media. In the message, he said, "I'm undefeated in England, just saying, Manchester and London. Well, guess I'm undefeated in general, ain't we all?" Mike Perry has found success ever since he left the UFC. He's in the form of his life as he's been competing in both the sport of boxing and in the bare-knuckle FC ring. Platinum left the UFC after he lost 4 of his last 5 fights in the octagon and decided to test himself in a boxing ring. He managed to secure a split decision victory, even when all odds were stacked against him, but he successfully rose above the doubters. The welterweight has since carried on his newly founded momentum to earn back-to-back wins in BKFC. A win over Julian Lane early in 2022 was followed by a huge win against Michael Venom Page as the the Bellator ace crossed over into the sport of bare-knuckle boxing. The MMA fighter has also shown interest in fighting KSI's biggest rival, Jake Paul. He'll allegedly fight Paul in case his opponent, Tommy Fury, backs out last minute. Perry did say that he signed a contract with Paul, but he didn't end up holding his end of the deal. Following up, will KSI accept Mike Perry's fallout? KSI found himself a new opponent even after Danis put the whole event in jeopardy by pulling out, but the Brit's repeatedly being ridiculed for his choice of opponent. Fans were expecting him to take up Mike Perry, Tyron Woodley, or Joe Fournier, but instead, he chose Temper. No one can forget how Temper was knocked out by Slim, and that just makes him not a good enough opponent. We'd like to think that Temper's loss at the hands of Slim was a wake-up call for him, and he's been training hard since. I guess we'll just have to see how he does in the ring, and if he's any better than before. KSI is set to fight Temper, but you never know. These things are pretty unpredictable, and at this point, opponents changing at the 11th hour is pretty common. Not to mention, Joe Fournier also showed interest in fighting KSI, and's upset about him picking Temper as the new opponent. Joe Fournier is on the undercard for Misfits event with Tony Christodoulou. The English businessman and boxer had previously put out a statement saying that he would fight KSI if Danis pulled out. After KSI's new opponent was announced on social media, a lot of fans were surprised as they were expecting Fournier to be the new opponent, and Temper was nowhere on their list. Fournier released a social media statement saying he was ready to fight KSI. He said that he was having discussions with Mams Taylor and agreed on the terms of the contract. He also said his weight met all the requirements and was waiting for the contract's final signatures. He said he was shocked to see Temper as KSI's new opponent and didn't understand why KSI's management did the biggest U-turn. Joe further said that he was turned down because he was the hardest opponent and KSI was looking for an easy win when the chips were down. Just like Fournier, we're also confused about what went on behind the scenes, but we're guessing they had their reasons. Lastly, when is KSI versus FaZe Temper set to take place and how can you watch it? The MF and DAZN X Series 004 will take place on January 14th, 2023 at the OVO Arena in Wembley, London, England. The arena has a capacity of 12,500. It's smart to have the event in a somewhat smaller venue, as it'll be close to a sellout with large social media stars on shows such as FaZe Temper, Salt Poppy, and Tom Zanetti. This will be the fourth event of the MF and DAZN X Series. Tickets are available, and fans are excited as there will be great undercard games as well. We can't wait to see how the whole card plays out, along with millions of fans around the world. If you're one of us who can't show up for the match at the OVO Arena, don't worry, because we know how you can stream the match online. The event's set to take place on the 14th of January 2023. The event will stream live on DAZN pay-per-view in the UK, Ireland, United States, Canada, France, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Netherlands, and Mexico. The price for UK and Ireland fans is £11.99, and it's $39.99 for American fans. You can visit the DAZN website for purchase. In every other country worldwide, the event will be included in your DAZN subscription. DAZN is available on web browsers in all countries except Argentina, Chile, and Colombia. Well, that's a wrap on today's video. Who are you supporting in the match, KSI or FaZe Temper? Make sure to let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more news in our next video. Until then, peace out.